Hey everybody, it's Lane here. I want to talk today about a really important aspect of writing a book or creating content of any kind, and that is two questions that every author, every content creator must ask about their content and must have very clear answers to in order to be successful at whatever you want to do. Sell a lot of books, get a lot of subscribers, get a lot of followers, whatever the goal is. These two questions are so crucial to making that happen. We're going to talk about those two questions in this video, so stick around. Thanks so much for stopping by my channel. I talk about self-publishing, personal development, and online business. If you're interested in self-publishing, I want to put something free in your hands. This is my 5-step guide to writing a #1 best-selling book, which I've done. My first book was a #1 bestseller in its category on Amazon, and in this guide, I teach you everything that I did to make that happen, the 5 primary steps that I used. If you're new to my channel and you're looking for content on how to self-publish, how to do online business, how to develop as a person so that you're more successful in all those areas of your life, definitely hit that subscribe button. I'm gonna make it worth it for you. And if you get value out of this video, please hit the like button and leave a comment. Okay, so let's dive into the 2 questions that you have to ask. And I'm gonna give you the questions right away. I'm not gonna build it up. I'm just gonna give you the questions, and then I'm gonna go back through and I'm gonna tell you exactly why these questions are so important. And these questions, honestly, they're not complicated. They're just simple, but so few people have the right answers to these questions. So here they are. #1, who is your content for? Who? Not what is your content, not what do you teach, not what do you write, not what do you podcast about, not what does your Instagram feed look like, but who is your content for? Who is your next book for? Who do you speak to when you do YouTube videos? Who is your product for that you're developing in your business? If it's an online course, if it's a membership site, if it's a physical product, who is always the question. What comes later, but everything is driven by who. That's the first question. I'll come back to why that's so important here in a second. The second question is, and this is a question that you have to be brutally honest with yourself about, and that is, would you subscribe to your content? Would you buy your book and read every page of it? Would you follow your Instagram feed? Would you subscribe to your YouTube channel? Would you promote you as a content creator, as a personality, if you weren't you? Okay? So those are the 2 questions. Who is your content for, and is it good enough that you like it? So let's go back to the first question. I want to kind of talk about why this is such an important question to answer. Often when we get into business, when we get into wanting to write a book, when we get into wanting to do a podcast, when we get into looking at all these things holistically, like I have started to do the last few years, where I'm like, I'm not just an author and I'm not just a content creator. What I really am is a business owner. I want to treat this like a business, and I want to serve people in the online space well so that I benefit monetarily. I can pay my bills and things like that. But also, I want to legitimately serve people, which is what businesses do. So I'm going to do that through books. I'm going to do that through my YouTube channel. I'm going to do that through products like the course that I've built and that I've sold. I'm going to do that through eventually like membership sites, physical products someday. But the idea is that I want to treat this like a business. And so the question is, if that's you, if you're that kind of person, and it doesn't matter if you have this big holistic strategy, it could be that right now you're just thinking, I just want to write a book. I don't know about all that stuff. The word business scares me. I'm just trying to write a book, or I just want to do a podcast, or I'm really thinking about doing a YouTube channel. If that's you, that's fine. The question is still who, not what. Question is who. Often what people will say, and this is good advice, is to come up with your ideal customer avatar. And when they say avatar, they're not talking about the 2009 summer blockbuster movie. They're talking about a type. Who is the type of person that you want to serve? And often, people are taught to kind of go to these great lengths to think of the person, right? The person they're going to serve. And you think about how old this person is, and you think about what gender they are, and you think about their life experiences, and you think about what they want to know, and you think about how you can teach them. And the idea is that if you get this avatar built in your mind, then boom, the answer to the question of who is solved, and you're off to the races. The limitation of that way of thinking is that it's so hard to consistently think about a made-up person, okay? It's so, and believe me, I've tried it. I built an avatar. I think about just sit down and write a blog post or do a video. It's like I'm thinking about so-and-so. Here's what I have found to be so much easier. Your customer avatar is you. I mean, it's you. It's me. Like when I try to make content, guess what? I make content that I would want to watch. I write books that I would want to read. That's why my books are short, okay? They're 180 pages, 190 pages, 40,000 words. I don't waste a word in my books. You know why? Because I hate reading books that could have been this thin and yet they're that thick. Okay, I get bored with it. It's a waste of my time and I don't like it, all right? Give me the content and then let me go implement it. So guess what? My books are short. This YouTube channel, okay, this is one of many attempts that I've made at YouTube channels, okay? Some of my YouTube channels have been successes. Actually, just one, only one. Preaching Donkey, I would consider that a success and it's getting better. It's still a very small channel, but I think it's very focused. But I've done other YouTube channels where it's like, I lost interest or whatever. And here I am, and I think the difference maker with this channel and the difference maker with Preaching Donkey is that the ideal customer avatar, as selfish and narcissistic as this sounds, is me. I'm making content that I would want. For this channel, I'm making content that 5 years ago, when I was searching on YouTube and I was trying to figure out, how do I do a podcast? How do I write a book? How do I make a YouTube channel? How do I make money online? There was so much crap on YouTube. There was good stuff and I found a lot of it and it's what taught me a lot of stuff. But there was a lot of things that were just junk, a lot of things that were a waste of my time, a lot of directions that people were telling to go to try to make money online that were just skeezy and schemy and not me and things that I don't want to do and don't want my name associated with. And so when I kind of started to put all this together and make a strategy of how I'm doing this, and I started to see some success with my brand Preaching Donkey, I thought, man, I want to make a YouTube channel for me 3 years ago, for me 5 years ago. And guess what? For me now, like I'm still learning. Of course, we're all still learning. Life is a journey. It's a process. It's not about the destination. We don't ever get there. I'm learning, you're learning. So I wanted to make a YouTube channel for people who are in the position that I'm in, who are interested in the kind of content that I'm interested in. So when you think about your book that you're gonna write, your YouTube channel, your podcast, my wife just started an Instagram thing, and Instagram, it's gonna be a full business and brand eventually, but right now it's just an Instagram thing. Gosh, I sound like such an old person. And the kids, you know, the Instagram, the Instagram. Anyway, she started on Instagram, and it's really designed for people who are like her, who have small kids, and who are trying to navigate the throes of being a mom with small children and trying to thrive in the midst of a lot of chaos. She found something that's a passion that she can now talk to other people about. And it's the kind of resources that she would want as a young mom. When I started Preaching Donkey, which is a resource site that I have to help preachers communicate better, I went looking online for preaching content, for how to preach. I'd been in college. I majored in communication, where I learned how to communicate and connect with people. Then I went to seminary, which is a master's degree program for ministers. And in seminary, I learned how to bore everyone with the Bible. And they called it preaching. And I thought, wait a second, there's a disconnect here. And is there any content out there that teaches how to preach in a way that's relevant and connects with people and still true to the gospel and true to what the scriptures teach, and yet compelling and clear and concise and attractive? I couldn't find it. Not to say that it wasn't out there, but I couldn't find what I was looking for. So I decided I'm gonna fill that space. And so I started creating content that I wished was out there. So if the question is who is your content for, start first with yourself. As narcissistic and as selfish as that sounds, think about, what would you like to see on YouTube? What book would you like to read? What podcast would you like to listen to? What kind of thing, what product is missing in the world that you wish were there that you could create for people like you? You're gonna have the most success that way. It's such a great place to start to say, what kind of thing do I want? And here's the thing, when you're on YouTube, you wanna be true to who you are. You wanna be true to you. And I learned this when in my channel, Preaching Donkey, I had a couple videos really take off. One of them got 120,000 views, another one got about 25,000, and then another one got about 160,000. I actually did a video, my last video on this channel was about that. It was actually about what YouTube paid me. You can check it out right up here. So, but that couple of videos brought a lot of new people to my channel who hadn't heard of me before. And it brought a lot of comments and a lot of negativity and a lot of people who were like, I hate you, you stink. And what I realized is that after I kind of got over the initial shock of like, oh my gosh, I actually got a negative comment on YouTube. I guess I'm in the club, but it kind of hurts your feelings at first. But then I realized, here's the thing, this content is truly me. I'm being myself. This is who I am. So in your kind of doing this, the first question is, who is your content for? And then who is your ideal avatar? And really what I'm asking is, what kind of content would you like? Which leads to the second question. And this is perhaps the most difficult question to ask. And that is, would you subscribe to you? Would you read your book? Would you listen to your podcast? Would you subscribe to your YouTube channel? Would you share it with your friends? Because if you wouldn't be interested in your content, that is the best place to start improving. What would be interesting? Are you providing enough value, or are you just saying words? Are you providing enough value, or are you just trying to get content out there? Because if you're not providing enough value that you would be interested in it, then why would anybody else be, right? And listen, we've all been there. Like, I've tried every single content strategy that is probably out there. I've tried just I tried cranking out a video a day for 50 days. I got to like 15 days and I burned out. And those 15 videos, like some of them were awful, just terrible. This is on Preaching Donkey. It's cringy. I leave all the content on there because I kind of want to just remember how bad it was so that I never go back to that. So that's not content that I would find valuable, but I was just like, I gotta get content out there, dang it. I gotta get it out there. So I've been there. So I'm not being critical, believe me, I've made every one of these mistakes. But what I realized is that if I don't like the content, I can't expect anybody else to like it. That's my point. So if you wouldn't read your book, if your book is not something that you would say, man, I like that, I want to read it, then you need to write a different book, okay? If your podcast, if you're talking about stuff that doesn't matter to you, it's not going to matter to anybody else. If you're talking about stuff on YouTube that you could care less about just because you're hoping to grow a channel so that you can monetize it, so that maybe you can sit on a beach and drink Mai Tais and make a bunch of passive income, it's probably not going to work, okay? It's got to start from a place of, man, I feel this in my gut and I got to say it because somebody has to say it and I got to hear it. And here's the thing, if you put these two things together, you're well on your way to having a much more cohesive strategy for YouTube or podcasting or writing a book or whatever you're trying to do. If you know exactly who it's for, you have that down, okay? What kind of value you're offering, who you're serving, and it's content that you would like, then you know, okay, here's why I'm doing this. So that every time you sit down to write a blog post, every time you sit down to make a YouTube video, every time you sit down to write another chapter of your book, you know who you're talking to and why you're saying it. And then you're writing in such a way, or you're creating content in such a way that you would like it. I was making my course, Killer Sermons Academy. I'd literally sit in this room every morning, early in the morning before work. I would come down here at 6 in the morning and I would work on creating lessons. And I would record a lesson on something, on a module of my course, and it would fire me up like so much. I mean, I would go upstairs to my wife and be like, this is gonna be awesome. Like, this course is really gonna help pastors. I can't wait to get it in their hands. I can't wait to get this out. Like, it's really good. I'm so proud of it, right? And I don't know that I would have stuck it out if I didn't feel that way. I don't know that I would have like put in the time and woke up early and figured out all the technical stuff on Kajabi, which is the system I use. I don't know if I would have done all that if, if it would have just been kind of ho-hum, I'm just trying to make a buck or whatever. It just would not have been enough. And I'm convinced that it has to be that way if you're going to have an online business where you, the personality, are who people follow, and your unique perspective is what they want to hear, okay? Whatever you're talking about fitness, you're, in my case, talking about preaching, or talking about writing books, or talking about online business, or you're talking about, I know a guy who, he has a whole online business helping people make wreaths, like the circular things that you put on your door at Christmas and other times. He makes $150K a year teaching online courses and has a membership site on how to make wreaths, okay? That dude's probably passionate about wreaths. And guess what? He probably makes videos on how to make that's a hard word to say. He probably makes videos on how to make wreaths because he likes making wreaths. He probably had people asking him, hey, John, can you make me a wreath, or can you show me how to do that? And over time, he started saying, well, dang, I got a lot of people asking me. I love this. I'm going to start sharing this online. And it probably went from there. And so it kind of works that way almost every time. And so if you put those two things together, it's not the most holistic. I mean, every question in the world has been answered. It's not quite that, but here's what it is. It's the fundamental, most simple, basic questions that most people skip right over, and they go start making content, and they go start producing things, and they go start writing. They don't know who they're writing to. They don't know why they're writing it, and it's nothing that they even care about. And that doesn't win. Those books don't sell. Those YouTube channels don't grow. Those podcasts don't get listened to. Those products don't get bought. So I don't want that same fate for you. I want you to be able to be successful. And I actually just wanted to remind myself of this as well. Let me know in the comments, who is your thing for, okay? Who are you trying to offer your thing to? Whether it's your writing, whether it's your product, whether it's your audio on a podcast, whether it's your blog post, whether it's your YouTube channel, who is it for? And then let me know in the comments, is it good enough for you? Are you interested in it? I want to hear from you. If you got value out of this video, please hit the like button. It really helps, because every time you hit that like button, YouTube says, hey, this video is pretty valuable. We're going to share it with some other people, which really helps out your boy here. All right. Be sure to subscribe. I would love that. I would love you long time if you turned that red button gray. Okay. Well, that's it. I appreciate you coming by. Thanks so much. And we'll see you in the next video.